China Current is a weekly news talk show from China to the world. We cover viral news about China every week and also give you the newest updates on China's cutting-edge technologies. Let's get started.
Welcome to China Currents, your weekly news report on the latest developments in China. I'm Mimi, and in this episode, China hits back at Trump's tariffs. China launches military drill around Taiwan Island. Chinese rescue teams achieved a miracle in Myanmar. First, China's turn in Trump's tariff war. On April 2nd, Trump announced a 34% tariff hike on Chinese goods. China's Ministry of Commerce swiftly introduced 3 countermeasures on April 4th, delivering not only an economic blow to Trump, but also significantly undermining the US defense industry's capacity to provoke a third world war. First, China declared that starting April 10th, it would impose a 34% tariff on all US imports, with agricultural products like soybeans and corn bearing the brunt, applying targeted pressure on Trump's voter base. The New York Times admitted that it will hit hard. According to the US Department of Agriculture, in 2024, China consumed 14% of all US agricultural exports and took in more than $27 billion worth of those exports and related products. On the other hand, Carlos Mera, head of agricultural market research at Rabobank, told Reuters, Brazil will be by far the main beneficiary, the biggest supplier that can replace US soybeans to China. But others could benefit too, including Argentina and Paraguay. On wheat, Australia and Argentina should benefit. Second, China announced export controls on 7 rare earth minerals and their compounds, directly exposing weaknesses in US defense and technology supply chains. Taking samarium as an example, its primary commercial use is in manufacturing samarium cobalt magnets, which are critical materials for high-performance motors and precision gyroscopes, essential to satellite and missile production. Reuters highlighted that China accounts for roughly 90% of global rare earth supplies, causing concerns among US aerospace manufacturers like Lockheed Martin, producer of the F-35 fighter jets. While the US government has stockpiles of some rare earth, but not enough to supply its defense contractors in perpetuity. More crucially, a 2014 University of Michigan study identified samarium hexaboride as a vital material for quantum computing. In June 2024, the University of California announced new breakthroughs in research on this compound. However, the ripple effects of Trump's tariffs have cast uncertainty over the commercializing of such technologies in the US. And third, China's Ministry of Commerce added 11 US entities to its unreliable entities list, banning trade and investment activities with Chinese firms. Drone XL analysis revealed these 11 companies are the backbone of America's $9.2 billion drone industry. Take Skydio as an example. The company ignored Beijing's warnings to engage in military technology collaboration with Taiwan. Additionally, as disclosed by Jewish Voice of Peace, the Israeli military ordered dozens of Skydio reconnaissance drones in 2023, later deployed in Gaza for military operations. In 2024, Yale University police used Skydio's military-grade drones to surveil student protesters. Jewish Currents reported these drones to assemble dossiers on suspected students, to later punish them. Now, Beijing finally decided to stand up to these American drone companies. Drone XL noted that US drone production lacks the scale to quickly replace Chinese supply chains. Scaling domestic capacity for components and rare earths could cost billions and take years, straining budgets. Beyond China, the EU and Canada have also rolled out countermeasures. Yet, on April 6th, the United Nations reiterated that nobody wins in a trade war, aligning with China's long-standing stance. Yale University's Budget Lab research indicates the new tariffs will raise US prices by 2.3% in the short term, equivalent to an average household loss of $3,800. Not only American citizens, but also US businesses stand to lose. Reuters reported iPhone prices could surge 30 to 40%, eroding the competitiveness of this iconic product and creating opportunities for rivals like Samsung. Rosenblatt Securities Crockett noted, "Our quick math on Trump's Tariff Liberation Day suggests this could blow up Apple, potentially costing the company up to $40 billion. Said, "It's hard for us to imagine Trump blowing up an American icon." Trump's tariffs are drawing global investor criticism. On social media platform X, Trump reposted a post claiming Warren Buffett praised Trump for the best economic move in 50 years. However, CNBC reported Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway promptly issued a denial, with Buffett himself stressing he would refrain from commenting on economic policies until May 3rd. In contrast, on April 6th, China's Ministry of Commerce hosted a roundtable with 20 US enterprises, including Tesla. Earlier, following Tim Cook's participation in the 2025 China Development Forum, Apple announced a $99 million expansion in China focused on clean energy. Apple COO Jeff Williams stated, "We're honored to deepen collaboration with suppliers across China to drive innovation and progress for our shared planet." Clearly, US companies and investors prefer aligning with the builder of the global economy over a disruptor like Trump. Chinese strategist Professor Wang Xiangshui observed that Trump, an unsuccessful businessman, has proven destructive rather than constructive in managing the world's largest economy. One key challenge he poses is America's increasingly closed market, which China cannot prevent the US from committing suicide. However, China's development of its domestic market and sustaining trade with other partnerships will provide stability in an uncertain world. Meanwhile, regarding the Trump administration's relentless, self-defeating policies, the Chinese embassy in the US seemed to deliver its final response as early as March. If war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we are ready to fight till the end. Moving on. From April 1st to 2nd, the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA, conducted the Straight Thunder 2025A exercises around Taiwan Island. The US State Department criticized the drills, stating they would exacerbate tensions and undermine cross-strait peace and stability. However, Chinese media outlet Guancha argued that the exercises are conducive to regional stability. In 2022, following Nancy Pelosi's irresponsible behavior, the PLA conducted rapid landing drills as a warning. But by 2024, the Joint Sword series began shifting focus, placing more emphasis on the Navy's blockade capabilities alongside amphibious landing operations. In the latest Straight Thunder 2025A exercise, landing operations were further downplayed, while training increasingly focused on the sustained control of air and sea domains, and on coordination between the Navy and Marine Police to implement a regular maritime blockade. This evolving approach reflects a strategic shift. As reunification by force becomes a less daunting prospect for Beijing, a prolonged blockade is seen as a more cost-effective means of helping Taiwan separatists to recognize reality. One example lies in energy security, a key vulnerability for Taiwan. Taiwan separatists often claim the island maintains 4 to 5 months of strategic oil reserves and can hold out until US forces arrive. However, as Guancha points out, Taiwan's energy self-sufficiency is extremely low, with over 97% of its coal, oil, and natural gas imported by sea. During the Joint Sword 2024B exercise in May 2024, foreign LNG carriers avoided the PLA's drill zones, resulting in 3 consecutive days without LNG deliveries and reducing the island's natural gas reserves to just 1 week. Similarly, during the recent exercises, the Taida 2 LNG ship was unable to enter port due to live fire drills. On April 3rd, Taiwan's United News outlet acknowledged that the mainland had exploited Taiwan's energy vulnerability. Moreover, on April 2nd, while the PLA conducted its drills, commercial satellite imagery showed the USS Carl Vinson carrier strike group transitioning into the South China Sea. However, instead of approaching Taiwan Island, it deliberately kept its distance and headed straight for the Middle East, offering no tangible support to Taipei. These developments suggest that through a series of increasingly sophisticated exercises, Beijing has effectively exposed the weaknesses in Taiwan's separatist narratives and bring the regional situation back on track. Next up, on April 2nd, more than 120 hours after a powerful earthquake struck Myanmar, Chinese rescuers pulled a 52-year-old man alive from the rubble of a collapsed hotel in Mandalay. According to China Daily, this rescue defied staggering odds, occurring well beyond the critical 72-hour survival window and under scorching temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius. This man, now recovering in stable condition at a local hospital, was trapped beneath the hotel's 3 collapsed lower floors. Team leader Yue Xing of China's search and rescue team revealed that advanced life detection equipment pinpointed his location. Rescuers drilled downward from the ground level, using an endoscope to locate him. Remarkably, the survivor had sheltered between 2 beds, shielding himself from debris. He had a pot of water and ventilation, key to his survival, Yue noted. After establishing contact via translator, rescuers administered saline and spent hours carefully extracting him. The operation involved China's International Search and Rescue Team, Hong Kong rescuers, and Shenzhen rescue volunteers. Blue Sky Rescue and others have worked over 100 hours since arriving on March 30th. So far, the Chinese rescue teams have saved 9 lives. That's all for today. Thank you for watching this episode of China Currents. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave it below. See you next time.